In this video, I'm going to take you through how I build my play call sheet. Most of my channel is dedicated to the Shanahan-McVay offense, so it should come as no surprise that I've modeled my play call sheet after theirs. I spent hours zooming in on Google images of Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, and Mike McDaniel holding up their play call sheets just so I can see what they have on it, where it goes, how much space it takes up. I've even looked at what color it is to the point where I have taken the little color dropper on Excel and clicked on that part of the picture so I could make sure that I even have the color right on my play call sheet. So what I've done is taken my favorite parts of their play call sheets, added a couple things that I think need to be on every high school coach's play call sheet, and put it all together for my own, and I'm going to take you through it right now. So this is my play call sheet. I'll scroll down so you can see all of it. And we're going to, in this video, cover every single section on this play call sheet and how you can use it in your own coaching. So before we get into the different sections, let's talk about how to put a play in on the call sheet. So what I like to do is kind of go in reverse order. So I'm not looking in the right column for wide zone. I'm looking in the left column for wide zone because that's what I want to run. And then I'll see the looks that I like out of it in the right column once I pick the concepts. Another thing that I'll do is use a slash to indicate left and right so I don't have to take up multiple lines for the same play. So I'm going to go through one right here for an example. Let's just say I want to run wide zone Zorro Cat. So I'm in the B column right here. I'm in the left side column of these three. Now I know that as I'm looking at my play call sheet, if I want to run Zorro Cat, here it is, and now I'll see the different formations on the right side that I want to look out of it. But if I want to run it to the left, I know that I'm running 19, so it's on the left side of the slash. And if I want to run to the right, it's 18, it's on the right side of the slash. A little bit easier there with the number system, but the formations help quite a bit too. The middle column is for personnel, which we're in the regular box, so it's going to be RG. And then on the right side, I have the formations. So let's say we want to run it out of strong, and then we would go left or right. So as I'm looking at my play call sheet, I'm looking again, all right, I want to run Zorro Cat. So now in the first column I'm looking at, I'm seeing the concept, and now I'm like, here's the formation that I like it out of. When I originally built this play call sheet, I had personnel group on the left, I had formations in the middle, and I had the play call on the right. And I noticed that I was starting on the right because I was looking for the play call, and then I was having to go back across, and it felt really disjointed to me. So I flipped it. This is how all the play call sheets that you'll see from McVay, Shanahan, LaFleur, and McDaniel, this is how they're all organized. And that's where I got the idea from. And I've really enjoyed having it this way. Maybe you will too. Another thing you could do with this play call sheet is if you're the play caller, maybe you have a run game coordinator and a pass game coordinator, you can share it with your people that you trust to help you game plan, and they can fill out their own parts of the sheet. You add what you want where you want it, and then overall you've got 3 or 4 people adding this one sheet every week so you don't feel like you have to do it all yourself. Then you come in whenever you go into your meeting, or you come in Monday before practice, you can print some of these out and cross off concepts throughout the week. You can highlight the ones that you like and then print out a fresh one on Friday ready to go. Lastly, you'll notice all the numbers that are on the side of each column here. Those are not connected to a wristband as of right now because I don't think that wristbanding is the best way to call plays in high school for this system. So the purpose that the numbers do serve is potential ease of communication. Let's say that we're going back to our example of running Zorro Cat. Well, instead of on the headset saying, hey, what do you think about running strong right 18 Zorro Cat? You could say, what do you think about running regular play 1 to the right? Now, strong right 18 Zorro Cat isn't just a huge mouthful compared to some of the other ones that you can get in this offense, but for the longer ones, it can definitely speed up the process by having this number to reference on the headset. Last thing before we get into the different sections on this play call sheet, it is not meant to be the size of a restaurant menu like you see on Sundays. This is meant to fit on 8.5 by 11 inch paper with quarter-inch margins around the sides. What I like to do is I type it out and then I make it into a PDF. I export it as a PDF just to make sure that it prints exactly the right way. So with all that said, let's dive into the sheet. At the very top, we simply have what game it is. Let's just say that it's week 2 and the Rams played the 49ers at home. So now I also have it set to automatically on the second page, automatically copy what goes in that first box so you don't have to worry about doing that. And now we're just going to go through it, reading it like a book. So going back over here to run game, this is going to be our base down run game. So it's 1st and 10, it's 2nd and 7. Anytime that we are on schedule, this is where our runs are coming from. You'll notice we've got 5 different sections. If you want to know a little bit more about my personnel groupings, be sure to check out my CoachTube course on this offense. But for our base runs, we're going to put all our regular runs here, all of our zebra runs in the zebra box, all of our E runs and eagle runs in that box. U is not in my CoachTube course. This is going to be 22 personnel, so 2 running backs and 2 tight ends, which is why it only has 5 spots as opposed to some of the other ones. And our run-heavy personnel groupings, the ones we're going to be in the most, are going to be regular and zebra. E is more of a running personnel grouping than eagle, so it's got 10 spots compared to 7 for eagle. And then U, again, is 22 personnel, so it's more of a change-up, and we've only got 5 spots for this one. Similar idea for pass game. We have our passes broken up by regular / E, so these are our 2-back passes. And then underneath that, zebra and eagle, we have our 1-back passes. And then in each, you have different amounts of different passing concepts. So 3-step passing concepts, there are 5 spots under 2-back. For 5 to 7 steps, there's only 3 because probably not going to drop back pass too much with a 5 or 6-man protection out of 2-back. Do have 5 spots for 7-man protection just in case the blitz gets to be a little too heavy later in the game. 5 spots for play passes and movement passes, so 10 total spots for play action, and then 3 for screens. Contrasting that with our 1-back passes, we've got 7 slots for 3-step, 10 slots for 5 to 7-step regular drop back passes, and then a couple less on play and movement passes because, again, those are things we're probably going to want to do more out of 2-back, and then 5 spots for screens. So again, these are all pass concepts that are for base, down, and distance. 1st and 10, 2nd and 6. Those are the kinds of situations we're going to be looking at these passes for. Moving back over to the left column, got a little section for trick plays. This was not on the NFL play call sheets, but it's something that I think belongs at the high school level. Below that, we have the priority calls section, and what this is going to be your opening script. Now, I think it's really important to have an opening script because you've practiced certain plays all week, whether you're trying to see what look you're going to get or you've seen on film that you think this concept is really going to work and you want to make sure you get it in. What really stinks is to practice some of those plays and then you forget to ever run them on Friday night because they just get lost in the call sheet. So I think it's a great idea to have a spot for your opening script. I think 10 plays is a really good number because if you start getting up into the 15 and definitely 20 play scripts, you're getting pretty deep into the second quarter before you've even gotten off of your opening script. So the priority call section for me, 10 plays. I want to maybe throw a trick play in there, a couple plays that I've curated just for this defense that I think I'm going to get, and then a couple plays so I can see what they're in to certain formations. And then from there, I know the different places on my call sheet that I need to go. All right, moving over across the first page, we're going to get to the third down section. Third down is kind of broken up into short, medium, long, and extra long. We've got 3rd and 2 to 4, 3rd and 5 to 7, 3rd and 8 to 10, and then 3rd and 11 plus. Now we've got 8 slots for each of them, but how they're divided up is dependent on the yardage. So the black line in the middle indicates the shift from pass to run. So passes are on top, runs are on the bottom. So we've got 3 spots for passes on 3rd and 2 to 4, 5 for runs. Again, that's going to be closer to a run down on 3rd and 2 to 4 than a pass down. 3rd and medium is kind of in the middle, so we've got 4 for each, 4 on top for pass, 4 on the bottom for run. Then 8 and 10, you're a lot more likely to pass, so we've got 5 for pass and 3 for run. Then 11 plus, almost guaranteed to be a pass. We've got 6 spots for a pass and 2 spots for a run, maybe for a quarterback draw, things of that nature. Now, that might not seem like a ton of different spaces for plays, but I broke down our huddle data for this season, and we were only averaging about 2 to 3 instances per game. So while it might not seem like a lot, it is enough. Moving on to 4th down, we've got it broken down similarly, 2 to 4, 5 to 7, and then 8 plus. 4th down is different than 3rd down because we're not going to run the ball to try and play for 4th down if you're a go-for-it team or if we're just across the 50. But again, we've got 7 slots for short and medium and then only 4 for long. Again, based on our huddle data, we haven't even come close to maxing any of these out. You might be wondering where 3rd and 4th and 1 is. We are going to get to that here in a little bit. Now, below 3rd and 4th down, I do have a little section for reminders. This is just a couple things that I want to keep in mind throughout the game. Maybe a concept later on that I want to make sure I don't forget, but it's not in the opening script. Maybe a couple different pieces of encouragement to keep me grounded throughout the game. A couple things that maybe are out of the ordinary that I'm going to need to remind myself to do. Those are all things that go in the little reminder section. All right, last quadrant on the first page is all about the red zone. We've got it broken down into high red zone, low red zone, and goal line. So the high red zone, we're talking the plus 20 to the plus 10. We've got 12 spots for passes and 12 spots for run. Again, way more than you are probably ever going to need, but they are there in case you do. For the low red zone, the plus 9 to the plus 3, we have 7 spots each. Again, for both of these, passes go on top, and then we've got runs. Then moving into the goal line, we also have 7 spots each for pass and run, and then we have a spot for 2-point plays. I do have 10 slots in here. That's just because I personally am and always go for it on 2-point plays. If you want to talk about that maybe in another video, let me know down in the comments. That's something I'd love to talk about. But 10 spots for 2-point plays. If you score more than 10 touchdowns in a game and you're going for 2, you can probably just go right back to the top and run those same plays over again, and you'll probably be okay. So that's the end of the front side page, and that's the page that you're going to be changing the most week to week. It's the page you're going to spend, hopefully, the most time on Friday night. Moving into page 2, we're going to be talking about some things that stay on the page week to week. So on the left, we have another spot for run game, and this is something that I saw on Matt LaFleur's play call sheet. I don't know if that was maybe just his version of the other coach's place where we had all the base runs, but something I've always thought needs to be on a high school sheet is just an emergency spot in case we get a front that we weren't prepared for. What are 3 to 4 runs we can run versus this front, and we don't really have to practice them, but we can get the job done and catch our breath a little bit before maybe coming over to the sideline and coming up with a different game plan. So the fronts that I have on here, we've got the 3-4 tight front, the bear front, which is to me a 5-2 tight. We see this a lot in our area where we're going to get 2 walk-down linebackers, and they aren't bumping out. We're staying in a true 5-2 with those 4 eyes or with 3s, and then they're playing basically cover 0 behind it. Penny front, which is a 5-1 box with a tight front, a spot for the 4-3 over. So if we're getting a 3 and a 9 tech strong, and then if we got 3 linebackers, that to me is a 4-3 over. 5-2 over would be if we've got a 3, a 5, and a 9 on the strong side. 4-2 over, we've got a 3 and a 6 strong. That 6 is going to be playing C-gap on the tight end, and then they're going to have a walk-down safety or outside linebacker outside the tight end playing the D-gap. Also have a spot for 4-2 and 3-4 unders. Only real difference here to me is that the 4-2 is going to stay 4-2 against a spread set. A 3-4 under would probably transition to a different front or stay more in that 5-2 look with a shade to the strong side. A 6-2 over, so we've got like a regular over front and then 2 walk down outside linebackers outside the defensive ends. A jumbo front, which is 4-2 with double ones. 3-3 stack, and then a 3-3 tight stack where the ends are in four eyes, and then the stack linebackers are playing the C gaps outside of them. So all the play calls on this part of the sheet will stay there every week. So maybe we've game planned for a tight front this week, and then they come out in an over front. We haven't practiced it. None of the play calls on my sheet were prepared for an over front because we never saw it. We had 5 games on film of them, and we never saw them in an over front. But here we are, and they are in the over front. What are 3, 4, 5 plays that I can run against an over front and know we can get the job done and catch our breath just a little bit? Same idea here in the passes by coverage section. This is something that you can see on their play call sheets, but they don't actually have it broken down by coverage. It's just a big old blank space for them to write different things. But I wanted to do a similar thing as we just did with the run concepts, and primary coverages that we can see have just a couple answers in case they have put one in throughout the week that we weren't prepared for. So quickly running through what these different coverages are. I'm also a Fangio student on defense, so I've used his terminology here. With cover 0, we're looking at 0 blitz, corners taking number 1, safeties man on number 2, outside linebackers blitz peeling, that kind of thing. No safety help deep. Cover 1, we have a middle of the field safety, and there's also a low hole player cutting the first crosser, the rat in the hole. That to me is cover 1. Cover 2, we have 2 deep half safeties. The corners are carrying the vertical of number 1. The outside linebackers are carrying the vertical of number 2. Cover 3 is going to be rotated to the passing strength. So let's say we're in a pro twins formation. The strength to us of the play might be to the tight end side, but to the defense, they're going to call it to the twins, and maybe they're going to send the nickel backer on a blitz and rotate the strong safety down and the free safety back. There are certain pass concepts that I'd want to run to the tight end side away from the safety rotation. There are certain concepts you'd want to run maybe to the safety rotation side, to the side of the blitz. So it's good to have this one separated from weak rotation that we'll talk about here in a minute. Cover 4 is your regular quarters, where the corners are taking the vertical of number 1, safeties are taking the vertical of number 2, outside linebackers playing the flats, and the middle of the field is open. Cover 5 is going to be man match with the safeties playing halves. Cover 6 is quarter half with the quarter side being to the strong side, the passing strength, and then the half side being away. Cover 7 is man match quarters. This one is made a lot more famous by Saban than Fangio. Cover 8 is half quarter, so the cover 2 side, the half side, is going to the passing strength, and the quarter side is going away from it. So let's say, again, we've got a pro twins formation. If it's cover 6, then the quarter side is going to go to the twins and the cover 2 side to the tight end and receiver. If it's cover 8, that's going to be flipped. So the cover 2 side will go to the twins, and then they'll be playing cover 4 to the side of the tight end and receiver. Cover 9 is weak rotation cover 3, so instead of the safety rolling down to the split number 2 receiver, in the pro twins formation, he's going to rotate down over the tight end. So again, based on where that safety is rotating, we might want to run different pass concepts than if it was cover 3 where he's rotating the other way. Book, area, and tricks are all trips checks. Book is very similar to stubby, where we're playing man on the number 1 receiver and then playing triangle over numbers 2 and 3. Area is very similar to what I've seen called stress from Cody Alexander, where the nickel is going to take the vertical of number 2, safety has number 3, and the corner has number 1. But if anybody doesn't go vertical, then it really turns into quarters. That's area. And then tricks is what a lot of people call solo or poach, where they're going to bring the backside safety over to cover the vertical of number 3. So 3 primary trips checks there that we want to have answers for based on what we're getting. Fire, where we've got 3 under 3 deep. Also have fire where we have 4 under 2 deep. And then dog is going to be cover 1 with a 5-man pressure. So there's no low hole player. It's just the middle of the field player. Then we're getting a 5-man rush. So again, I would have our base concepts under each of these. These are not going to change week to week. So again, maybe we are game planning for a cover 1, cover 3 team, and then they come out and show that the middle of the field is open. We didn't run any pass concepts all week long. that beat this kind of coverage. So what are we going to do? Flip this sheet over, and I've got 3 or 4 that we can run and then see if we can either get them out of that coverage, or we're either just going to beat them with those concepts and we'll be fine. The next spot we're looking at is the emergency backups spot. And this isn't a part of the sheet that I could see on any Google Images, so I'd be really interested if anybody has some where you can actually see what they have on their call sheet. But it's okay because I've been very passionate that something like this needs to be on a play call sheet. So what this section is different plays that you can run if you have to go to a backup in the middle of the game. You'll notice that the quarterback is different than the rest of them. We'll get to that here in a second. But every other position, skill position, has 5 different spots. So maybe we have to put in our second string running back, maybe our first string running back, maybe his helmet comes off during a play. Hopefully it's not because he got hurt. But what's a play that we can run that is not going to hurt us with our second string running back in the game? Maybe you've got 2 running backs that you like. Maybe your third running back has to go in. What's a play that we can run where we're not going to get hurt? Same with our split end, tight end, flanker, zebra, and fullback. These are all just going to be a couple different plays where that player is not going to hurt us, or maybe a play to get that player going. So I'd have a couple different plays on here. Maybe for the halfback, say our running back 1, his helmet just came off and, we can't run for a play. So maybe one of my play calls here is I'm going to put an extra receiver in there, and we're just going to get in 4-5 jet protection where the fullback is going to be the 6th man in the protection, and then from there we're in 4 wide. But I also would have a couple plays on here in case my first string running back actually did get hurt. What are 2 or 3 running plays that my second string running back is really good at running? Those are some different things that we need to take into consideration here. But let's talk about the quarterback, because I've got 8 spots here, and they are broken up by this black line. On top, we are going to have those certain plays that, his helmet came off, he's got to come out for a play. What's one play that we can run with the backup quarterback? Or maybe we can get in something like a wildcat formation. What's just something we can do to hold us over for a play before our quarterback can come back in? And then the bottom 5, spots 4 through 8, are backup quarterback's favorite plays. So if I have to put my backup quarterback in because my regular quarterback gets hurt, what are a couple plays we can run that's going to get him comfortable, that's going to get him going, and then hopefully from there he can operate the structure of the offense? These are things that when they happen in the middle of a game, you don't want to be frazzled thinking, what am I going to do? Just flip the play call sheet over, and you've got your ideas that you already thought out ahead of time when you were a lot clearer minded, ready to go. We have an extra goal line box, and this is just 10 extra plays that you don't have on your other side of the sheet, on that main part of the sheet that you're going to be looking at. These are going to be your base goal line concepts. Maybe you're getting a different thing on the goal line than you thought. Maybe you ran all of your concepts already, and you just need a couple extra play calls throughout a game. They can be on the backside right here, not changing at all every week. Below that, we have short yardage. This is your and 1 situation that we were missing earlier. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. What are we getting in right here with 1 yard to go? 10 plays that I know I can get 1 yard with. Below that, we have backed up, so you're in the shadow of your own end zone. We're trying not to get a safety. What are 10 plays that can give us some breathing room so we can get back to our base down and distance calls? Then below that, we have the 4-minute plan. 10 plays I know that can keep us on schedule when everybody in the county knows that we're about to run this ball and we're trying to run the clock out. Last column, we have the 2-minute procedures, very similar to base down and distance, where we've got certain play calls for certain personnel groupings, and you can just go right down the list, play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, based on what personnel grouping you have out on the field. And something that I would recommend doing is, unless you're just facing a completely different defense, don't change your 2-minute script. That's why I like it on this side of the sheet. Maybe you don't have to run a 2-minute drill until week 5. Now you've had 5 weeks of practice on this one script, and it's going to be a lot easier for your players to remember. So I like having it on this side of the sheet. We've also got different spots for different personnel groupings. Maybe we start the drive in zebra personnel, so I've got plays 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we call timeout, and maybe we're a little bit closer so we can get in regular personnel. Well, I can just go to play 1 for regular personnel and do that. But that's how I would use the 2-minute column. And then finally, we have the final plays section. So this is something that I don't think is thought about enough. is what play are you going to run if the game depends on it, depending on where you're at on the field. You've got one play call. What are you going to run? So this section is a little bit different than the rest of them because these are yard lines. I've got one play from the 2-yard line, and I have to score or we are going to lose this game. I thought about it on Saturday or Sunday. What play am I going to run? I've got one play from the 5. It's twice as far from the 2. I don't want it to be the same play call. What play am I going to run? From the 10, the 15, the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50, and then from the -40. Maybe around the 40-yard line, maybe your quarterback doesn't just have a great arm. You start running some different trick plays. You might have the same play for the last couple boxes, but at least you will have thought about it beforehand. So if you want to use this template, you can download it absolutely for free. Just click the link down in the description below. If you want to see how I decide what play calls actually go on it, be sure to click on this next video.